Professor Sudeshna Sarkar. Professor Sarkar is a professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, and she's also the head of Center of Excellence in AI at IIT Kharagpur. The title of her talk, which is quite relevant for us today, is AI in the Classroom. So, Professor Sarkar, over to you.
Good afternoon to all of you. All the sessions today have been extremely interesting. I thank Dr. Ravi Kothari, Dr. Anjali Taneja, all the participants and all the other panelists. So today I'm going to talk about the role artificial intelligence is playing in education and the potential, the immense potential and the need for using artificial intelligence in education. As we have seen that AI has invaded all spheres of human endeavor, and the technology, different technology, including AI and other digital technologies, are here to stay and are going to take over our lives. And I'm going to talk about what is the importance of education in this context and what is the role of AI in education, in the classroom and beyond. So all of us know that today, in the last few years, the world has been changing extremely fast. And there are technologies which are driving this fast-paced transformation, which includes AI as well as other technologies such as blockchain, IoT, quantum computing, etc. In addition, the world is also facing numerous challenges, starting from diseases, from environmental challenges, economical challenges, social challenges, climate change. And in this scenario, education is going to play an extremely important role. So in this complex world of today, which is powered digitally and technologically, and the importance of the technology is going to grow. So as we have to get into terms with this world and function in the world, it is extremely important to have the right education so that people can remain productive and can function to their best potential. So it is increasingly felt that low-end jobs will be lost to technology. And because the global boundaries have been going down, we need to be globally competitive. And education is a must to prepare the learners to face the technologically advanced world. Also, the nature of education is changing. Education is no longer to be into individual silos. So a chemical engineer or a computer science engineer, it's not enough that they only look into their discipline. The focus today is on finding solutions. And many of the excellent talks today, whether it is AI for social good or AI for healthcare, they have focused on identifying the most important, some of the most important problems of the country and of the world and finding solutions to them. And when you want to find solutions, it's extremely important to take an interdisciplinary view. And education must cater to this interdisciplinarity. There's also a need for continuous learning and reinventing oneself because the disciplines are changing so fast, the requirements are changing. So what you learn today may not be relevant tomorrow. It is also important to have an awareness of society, economics, history, and context. And learners must be prepared for an AI-powered world. And therefore, it is important to future-proof education. And for that, to look at the curriculum, design a curriculum which is appropriate, and to teach students how to learn and facilitate students so that they can explore and they can innovate and nurture the right type of students. Now, where is AI coming in here? Now, the existing institutions and the systems which we have especially in India, I think they're very inadequate to cater to the demands for education. First of all, the capacity is inadequate. There are too few teachers, too little resources, classrooms, finances, devices. So the capacity and everything is, we are working with a resource crunch. And there are outdated teaching and assessment modalities. Teachers of today, like us, we have been coming from a different generation when the modality of the world was different. And when we have to teach today's students, the modality of delivery has to change fundamentally. And it is very important to find solutions. And I think that artificial intelligence itself can provide the technology to cater to today's education needs. So because we need to transform educational practices, institutions, and also policies so that there is a change in how learning takes place and how teaching takes place. So I also feel that we are not going to become redundant, despite we means the profession of teachers are not going to become redundant, but AI will help to transform education, to help teachers and to help learners. So these are some of the ways in which AI can play a role in education. So first of all, AI technology can be used to improve learning outcomes. And a lot of people have realized that personalized teaching and learning is extremely important for this. Then we need to have better access to education for everyone. And when I mean education, I mean good quality, high quality education. We need to connect learners and mentors across spatial and physical boundaries so that they can collaborate and excel. We need to support teachers in delivery and assessment so that their time can be used more fruitfully. We need to have flexibility of offering based on student aptitudes and interest. We should not stick to a very rigid curriculum to cater to the need of every student, but a student should have the way of exploring and coming up with a set of courses or learning which can help her to excel. We have to use AI to make excellent courseware and teaching methodologies available more widely to a larger number of learners. And finally, what is most important, we must enable equitable access to high quality education. Now, this is a cartoon which many of us have seen, which showcases the bane of standardized learning and standardized testing. When we have learners who have different capabilities, different ways of learning, we should not give them similar courseware or test them similarly. Unfortunately, in the standard teaching institutions, we have a single teacher who is catering to multiple diverse individuals. So that we can call it a single instruction and multiple students. But these students are not homogeneous. They are not similar computing or thinking units. So ideally, we must cater to them according to their requirements. So we need to create pathways which are personalized to every individual. And in a personalized learning system, which people have been talking about for quite some time, it is important to understand the learner by monitoring the learner and profiling the learner, and based on that, adapt the course delivery and the course material which is going to be delivered to the students. And different technologies play a role in this. For example, one must monitor students based on different sensors or assessment of tests. We must keep track of the different interaction sequences so that we can track students and also the different instructional sequences. And by keeping track of this and by connecting this to learning outcomes, there's a scope of using AI and machine learning to develop good decision systems which can drive better learning methodologies. Then it is very important to support flexible learning or exploratory learning. And for that, today there are a lot of resources or courseware available on the internet. But we have to identify, when people want to learn something, they can get drowned in the amount of content which is there. And also, in order to try to understand what courses will be useful to the student. And for that, it is important to have systems for recommendation, which can recommend courses and modules, and also activities and other exercises to students, and can also recommend peers and mentors which a particular learner can connect to enhance his or her learning experience. Next, it is very important that AI technology is used for supporting teachers. Now, we also believe that online learning only, while online learning is extremely important, has a very important role to play, online only learning is unlikely to be effective. The role of the teacher is extremely important because the sort of inspiration a teacher can create, the creativity and the social economic aspects of being connected to a human teacher, that is not limited to just knowledge transmission. So the teacher is extremely important to educational environment. However, learning environments must support teachers and augment their skills. They must be designed so that they can work cooperatively with human teachers, so that the delivery of courses can be optimized, and they can help teachers in assessing students and catering to diverse student types. So we need a platform which can enable continuous learning for teachers who have to adapt to the current generation of learners, to the current technology and today's courses. Next, in an educational system, it is very important to keep students engaged. The attention span of the students and also the teachers is not very high. And I believe in today's world, the attention span is also coming down due to the diversity of experience which are available. So the course delivery, to be effective, must be adapted to the student's attention span. And by being able to sense a student's attention span, AI and other technology can be used to adapt the delivery of courses. So the course can be peppered with particular activities and other things so that the students can be kept engaged and for the duration of the course, and help the learners to participate in the teaching learning process. The other important thing is to see that the AI delivery of education is inclusive and equitable. There is a feeling, and that it is also justified, that the digital divide or the AI divide can amplify inequalities unless it is specifically addressed. But the digital platform also has the potential to bridge the divide. The most important characteristic of a technology-driven platform is its ability to scale up. And if we can responsibly use technology and develop good quality systems, they can be tuned for effective interaction and localized adaptation to cater to learners from different geographical locations and different aptitudes. Also, today, the most effective, most people undergo a process of a combination of both online and offline learning. The COVID experience has showed us by feedback from different communities that learners value in-class experience. And the human involvement is extremely important. The virtual world of unreality versus the physical world of human beings. So the learner's connection, not only with the teacher, but also with the peers, more with the peers is extremely important for a good quality education. So when the pandemic situation is no longer with us, the optimum way of delivery of education is a combination of online and offline learning. However, classroom learning has some drawbacks. In large classes, there are certain students who who are shy to ask questions, who are intimidated and cannot really get the experience that they require. Whereas a virtual teacher can have more patience and can provide the anonymity for those students to really come up. So a blend of online and offline experience is extremely important. And for that, we need highly modularized courses, and they can be driven by AI. Now, let us look at what are the different components to have an AI-based education system. It has been recognized that ontology is a very important backbone of digital learning environments. And the ontology has two types of ontology. One is the ontology of pedagogy, and there have been different standards like LTI and others, where the different interactions of the learners and the teachers can be captured. And then we need the ontology of different disciplinary domains to identify the different concepts and the learning modules and the topics for different disciplines. Also, in order to have an AI-driven learning system, it is very important to have collected a lot of data. So data is a key to develop high-quality AI-driven education systems. So the data can be used for different activities in educational planning and management, such as monitoring students, understanding whether they are paying attention, what sort of difficulties they are facing, understanding the student engagement, and to adapt, to understand what type of learning pathways or teaching sequences are evoking what type of learning outcomes or responses. In order to do personalization, it is extremely important to track the teaching and learning sequences and the learning outcomes, based on which the personalized pathways can be created by using machine learning and other methodologies, and monitoring and evaluating of educational outcomes. For all this, data collection is extremely important. And data can be captured in different modalities. Physiological data can be captured for online courses through eye tracking, for offline classroom courses through motion, through different physiological sensors. The storing of learning and teaching traces and outcomes. Also, a particular learner may learn from different modalities and platforms. It is very important to have standards. I think certain standards are already there, but in order to make sure that the different systems are interoperable and there is transferability across platform and across individuals, so that these experiences can be taken into account for coming up with a good quality decision system. So there are challenges like, as I said, people learn from different channels. So transfer learning is extremely important, and connecting to long-term outcomes. So it is very important for from the perspective of the learner as well as the teacher to have a platform which aggregates learning resources, through which the student or the teacher can have an aggregated view of the learning resources. As I've already mentioned, that ontology and metadata can facilitate indexing, search and browse, and exploration of learning content. Natural language processing and text mining are extremely important so as to annotate learning content, extract metadata, and map the resources to the ontologies as well as the pedagogical concepts. It is important to provide search, browse, and recommend. It is important to make sure that content is available in the language of the learner. And also conversational systems can be used so that a learner can interact more naturally with the EMI system. So these are some of the important characteristics of an educational resource platform. We must have a good set of resources. There must be access to the resources through indexing, metadata, languages, and conversational systems. The system must provide a way for exploration through search and ranking, and the system may enable connection with peers and mentors through networking. So I will very briefly describe our ongoing project at our Center of Excellence in AI at IIT Kharagpur, where we are building a resource platform for education on AI. So today there is a lot of interest in learning about artificial intelligence, and it is important for everyone to have an awareness of AI because AI is pervading so many disciplines. And we are developing a platform which can provide access to different types of AI resources and promote AI learning. So this is a web-based system which facilitates search and browse of resources as well as a learning platform which enables working through courseware on AI as well as computation in order to learn AI related courses. So our system has these components: one for resource access, for learning and skill development, and for collaboration and participation. So I'll very briefly go through this. So there are provisions for search and browse, personalization in search and browse, human-computer interaction. And for that, we have ontology development, metadata, recommendation systems, chatbots. Then for learning and skill development, we have some courses which we are developing, and there will be as well as courses which we're indexing. And for that, we have a course delivery platform for automated delivery of courses, automated assessment, as well as a coding mechanism so that the computation can be provided for learning to code, so that the computation, the assignments can be taken and the feedback given by running the code on the cloud. And then there are mechanisms for collaboration and participation. So we have different resource types which we plan to aggregate, and some of which we have made a start on this. We have developed an ontology, a high level ontology of the different AI domains, and looking at the different topics on AI, fundamental topics, thematic topics such as NLP, vision, perception, as well as application topics. For each of the topics, or for many of them, we have developed the low-level ontologies also. And these ontology, how they are useful? They are useful so that the educational resources that we collect, they can be properly annotated. And based on this annotation, those resources can be indexed, and it can facilitate identifying what type of pedagogy, what type of concepts are there in a learning resource, and it can help access to those resources. So this is just an example of the metadata. We have a metadata schema for different types of resources like books, articles, datasets, codes. So datasets, codes, software, these are extremely important for AI education, and also link between them. So suppose there's this paper on convolutional neural network for diabetic retinopathy, which is using a particular dataset. We will create link between the paper and the dataset, and from the dataset to the papers which are referring to the dataset. Then we have courses which we're indexing the metadata of a course. We have different worksheets which are very important for AI education, and we have metadata for that. So there are various technologies, AI technologies that we have to use in order to create this platform. So one of the tasks is metadata extraction, to enable metadata extraction and text mining, for which we need to do automated metadata extraction of different fields like title, contributor, type, and the subject field, which is extremely important. And the subject field can be tied to the disciplinary ontology of that domain, which we have done. For example, we have developed an AI ontology which currently has more than 2,000 different concepts and topics. So we will identify automatically the subject and the topics and the concepts which are there in a particular learning resource. We have pedagogical metadata of learning resource type. Then we use this metadata to enable indexing for search and browse and to enable text mining. I will very briefly talk about, there's not much time, about two of the components that we have developed on this system. This work is by Professor P.P. Chakraborty and his student. So we have a module on courseware recommendation, where we are recommending courses, questions, etc., papers for that, which sits on top of this platform. I will not go into the detail because there is not much time. We have also building a conversational interface so that there can be a natural language interaction with the student and with the learner. And for that, we have identified the different entities and intent types. And we have developed various conversational flows in order to do a natural language conversation, which can provide a learner access to the back end of this system. And going forward, I think if we look at the topic of AI and education, I think it is extremely important to bring together the different research work which have been going on in this domain, so that we can develop or we can have access to an integrated and dynamic learning management system which can support real-time decision making, which can take real-time feedback and can support real-time decision making use of the data which has to be collected. There has to be initiatives by different institutions and governments to have data collected for the teaching learning process. And the system for using AI in education must be a system which has a human in the loop, and it has to be a system where there's real-time data processing which can be used for real-time intervention and adaptive discovery. There is a scope for automatic synthesis of personalized course material for learners. Also, when we are talking about using data, there are issues and concerns about privacy. There are also issues about ensuring that the decisions are fair, there are no bias, and also explainability of decision. So these are some of the topics in which there must be research and development, which is extremely important for this particular cause. So with this, I end my talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Sarkar, Sudeshi Sarkar, for this very interesting talk on education. When we talk about artificial intelligence, there are various dimensions of AI, and education, in the field of education and research, this is extremely important because it starts from the ground level where the students and the faculty and they actually integrate and understand what is required on the ground in the field of AI, and then we actually use it in the practical life. So one of the primary fundamental questions is also in the field of research, that whether India is doing enough in the field of AI in research. Basically, if we compare a lot of statistics worldwide, India is still failing a little behind in terms of research, quality research papers or quality research publications, or whether we need to do something in the field of education to empower our students to get into the employment mode. So what do you think your thoughts would be when it comes to employment generation through AI? What are the various facets of education that we should look into, which would ensure that the students are...
Thank you, Anjali, for that very pertinent question. I think for a country like India, education is an extremely important, a country like India, which has, huge amount of population and a huge number of talented people. There are constraints of resources in education. Our educational institutions are not sufficient to cater to our learners. And that is where I think AI has a large role to play. There is lack of quality educational resources, and there is a lack of having a curriculum which can help in connecting students with employment.
There are two more questions that we can take before we end this session. One is by Dhruv Agarwal, who says, building classroom-specific AI systems require classroom-specific data like eyeball tracking. How is it possible to do something like that in a privacy-preserving manner?
Definitely, there are privacy issues in, just like the privacy issues in health data, there may be privacy issues in educational data. I am not an expert on this, but I think one has to, think through this and to develop systems which follow standard, good practices and make sure that this type of data is not misused.
Right. Yes. Okay. That's okay. That's interesting. Last thing we can say before we end the session is, could you comment on, there's one question which has been posted on AI-based assessment modalities which are being developed. Okay. So this is quite interesting because even in the field of education, if we have to do certain evaluation of performances of the students, where they stand. So what are the AI centric assessment modalities or assessment modules that are being developed? If you could share some knowledge
so
on that.
Professor Pushpak Bhattacharya, today morning, he gave a very good lecture on AI-based assessment of essays. I think for a teacher, the worst job of a teacher is assessment and grading. So if an AI system can take over this duty of the teacher, it will free the time of the teacher so that the teacher can keep pace with the newer knowledge and learning. So AI-based assessment is definitely people have been working on. Simplest is multiple choice assessment. But then there has been also some progress in essays, assessing essays, and we are also trying to do some work, and other people are also trying to do some work so that one can also assess code. So when you write a code, at least by the output of the code, we can create a platform where it is easier for a teacher to set up questions involving programming and which can be automatically checked. So if one can automate the assessment, it is extremely important. Plus, if you have a good learning delivery system where, the assessment, there are assessments like midterms and end terms, which are one time, but one can use the platform for continuous assessment through frequent quizzes. And also, as I have told, the students nowadays, or teachers even, they have very small attention spans. So instead of having a monotone 1 hour lecture, we can have short lectures and then quizzes which can be interactive, and the student has to immediately give some answer. So there can be mechanisms which keep students engaged, which also helps in the assessment, not assessment just for grading, but assessment which acts as a feedback to the teacher. So that even when there's a human teacher, the teacher can get feedback from different sensors, the assessment that the student is giving, and the teacher can adapt the delivery of the course, change the delivery of the course. So the teacher understands that the student has not understood what she has taught. The teacher will adapt the delivery. So assessment, including continuous assessment, is extremely important. For other types of assessment, a lot of research is going on.
And thank you so much, Professor Sarkar, for sparing some time. This was a little longish session, and we really liked it because there were a lot of questions pouring in at the last minute. Thank you for so much for that insightful lecture that you gave.